Greetings, it's New Zealand naturopath Eric Backer and author of the Psoriasis program. Thanks for checking out my video today. This is the third video in the mini online psoriasis program self-help series. So we're going to talk now a little bit about special dietary considerations, the best foods to eat and the best foods to avoid when it comes to getting a fantastic result with your psoriasis. So have a think about this. We've already spoken previously in the introduction to healthy eating that you need to make the diet changes if you really want to get the result. Okay, paying lip service to healthy eating and having a few lettuce leaves here and there and avoiding beer and pizzas is just not going to cut it. If you've got moderate psoriasis, and especially if you've got severe psoriasis like some patients I've seen, you can get a fantastic result just by making the dietary changes and sticking with them long enough, right? And I know this because I've seen it with an incredible amount of patients. So let's just go through a list now of the best foods to eat when you have got, psoriasis, or psoriatic arthritis for that matter. Fresh, unprocessed and nutritious foods, well, that goes without reason. You understand that. You need to eat food that's fresh. So processed foods in packets or bottles or tins, large supermarket shops, and eating everything out of the microwave is not really a good idea with psoriasis. You need to really prepare foods at home, salads, steamed foods that have been minimally or partially processed that are fresh. It just really makes sense to do that. And the higher quality produce and meats you buy, the better your health is going to be. The less toxins in these foods, the less sprays in these foods, the less hormones and antibiotics. So when possible, buy free-range, organic, certified organic, or even grow some of your own vegetables. Anti-inflammatory foods. Well, these are going to reduce skin or joint inflammation, which means less cracking, less peeling, less itching, less flaking, less bleeding, all that sort of stuff. All these things are a result of the chronic inflammatory process that is quite normal with psoriasis. So what are some of the key anti-inflammatory foods you can have? Well, foods high in omega-3, for example, like salmon. Any fish, fatty fish, is going to have omega-3 in it. Walnuts have got omega-3 in them. These are good foods for you to eat. Ginger, turmeric, good foods for you to eat. Occasionally small amounts of pineapple, which contain bromelain, a proteolytic enzyme. These are going to help you a little bit as well. I've written lots of information on the core anti-inflammatory foods in the psoriasis diet, which makes up my program. Antioxidant-rich foods, very smart move. So antioxidants are particular nutrients that help to stop damage occurring with inflammation, damage to your skin, damage internally. Many people with psoriasis, when it's chronic, end up with other kinds of inflammatory conditions and other diseases. You're at a high risk of heart disease and diabetes and many other diseases if you have got chronic psoriasis. So taking in antioxidant foods, these are the brightly coloured vegetables in particular, very brightly coloured things that are bright red, bright yellow, bright green. These will stop damage. There's a huge list of the best antioxidant foods in my book. And you'll also find more information on antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods on the website, thepsoriasisprogram.com. Rotate foods. So don't eat the same foods all the time. Try and change the different kind of foods you eat here to there and to see what happens to your skin. If it gets worse, for example, if it gets better, keep a bit of a food diary. That will give you an idea on what foods really suit you and what foods don't suit you. That's a clever approach. Feature leafy green vegetables in your diet. Leafy greens contain large amounts of magnesium and calcium and potassium and minerals, many minerals, but also vitamins like folic acid. So folic acid is very important for you with psoriasis because it helps healthy skin to develop. Folate's one of the most important vitamins that you'll find for you because it's going to really make your skin nice and soft and supple. You're going to get it in deep leafy greens like spinach and broccoli, for example. You're going to get large amounts of folate. The fresher the produce, the higher the amount of folate. The higher the amount of folate, the quicker the skin will heal and the better it's going to look. So just remember that. Anything processed has usually got no folate in it. Supplements are good with folic acid, but you can't beat fresh green produce. Fermented and cultured foods, another key consideration because these foods are going to improve your digestive health. You're going to get more beneficial bacteria. And that's going to mean, a lot better immune system, a lot better when it comes to inflammation. These things down-regulate inflammation. They give you more energy. They improve your sleep. They stop bloating and farting. They stop digestive problems. They improve overall health. The better the gut health, the better the skin health. Fermented and cultured foods really improve gut health. Foods like yogurt, foods like kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, there's many of them, and you can read more on my website, the Psoriasis Program, and also particularly in my book, of course. Sea vegetables contain huge amounts of minerals. Different kinds of seaweeds, very, very good for thyroid health. Sea vegetables contain more minerals per weight than any other food on the planet. So if you can incorporate things like sushi, nori in there, wakame, hijiki, kombu, there's many different kinds of seaweeds you can incorporate into your diet. You could put it in condiments, you could boil them, you can steam them. So have a think about sea vegetables. So those are some of the core, food groups which I recommend you eat. Now, what about the stuff that you've got to stay away from? Well, there's a lot of stuff you've got to stay away from for a long time, at least 6 to 12 months to get your gut in great shape. When you've got bad psoriasis, I'd like you to stay away from red meat. Lamb's fine, fish is fine, but beef is not a good idea. Dr. John Pagano wrote extensively also about how beef can really affect people. Dr. Pagano was a very expert chiropractic doctor in the US who wrote a very good book called Healing Psoriasis. So I've spoken to a few of Pagano's patients who have told me that one of the big breakthroughs they got was when they kicked out the red meat from the diet. They got a big breakthrough. So I started using Pagano's methods and then sort of building my own on top of what he did. And I found that red meat can really flare some people up. So red meat can stimulate what we call inflammatory prostaglandins in the body. This can make your skin itchy and dry and crack when you've got bad psoriasis. So try and get rid of red meat for a while. Just beef, but lamb, as I say, is okay. Avoid nightshades. So try and keep away from potatoes, tomatoes, chili, eggplants, bell peppers, capsicums, these sorts of foods. These contain a chemical called an alkaloid, a particular alkaloid in them, which can again cause inflammation. This is one of the few autoimmune conditions where I get people to take all of these class of vegetables out of their diet. The other condition is rheumatoid arthritis. So rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis patients are best to avoid the nightshade family or the solanaceae, at least for a 3-month trial. Some people respond so incredibly fast by just taking tomatoes out of their diet. Tomato sauce, John Pagano noticed that when one lady stopped tomato sauce, literally within a month the skin cleared up. So give it a try. Take all of these solanaceae out of your diet for about a few months to see what happens. Avoid the sugary foods and the yeasty foods, because remember, you've got a high chance of having a candida yeast infection. So by taking out sugar, confectionery, candy, ice cream, all these sorts of foods, chocolate with sugar in it. Cacao on its own is probably okay, unprocessed chocolate, but if you're going to eat chocolate, it's got sugar in it. Ice cream, of course. Breads, risen breads with yeast in them. Any of these candida kind of foods need to be eliminated for a while. And of course, alcohol. Alcohol is one of the key things you've got to stop for at least 6 to 12 months if you've got bad psoriasis. If you're not prepared to stop alcohol, I can't help you any further. So if your psoriasis is bad enough, you're willing to, make that move to stop the alcohol for a while, we can repair the gut. You're going to get a fantastic result. So that was the video on foods to eat, foods to avoid. Don't forget, you can read loads more in my 2 books, Introduction to the Psoriasis Diet, which is 109 pages, and the Psoriasis Diet, which is 102 pages. So by you getting those books as part of the psoriasis program, you're going to know more than most people do about healthy eating and psoriasis. So if you go to Ultimate Psoriasis Program, you can read more about the program. It's very inexpensive, I believe, for the amount of information you get. So check it out, and I'll catch up with you in the 4th video. Thanks for tuning in.